Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sangoma's webinar on Bring Your Own SIP Trunks to the Cloud. My name's Simon Horton. I am the VP of Sales for International, and I'm joined by Shan, who will be speaking shortly, and Shan is the VP of Marketing for International as well. International in Sangoma's world means everything outside of US and Canada. Shan and I are based in our European headquarters, which is in a small town called Wokingham, just west of London. So what are we going to talk about today? Here's the agenda. So first of all, a very quick reminder on how Switchvox works today and our offerings. I won't take too long. I'm going to walk you through that part. Then I think Shan is going to take over and talk about the UC market for Europe. She's going to hand back to me. I'm going to introduce you, walk you through the new offering we're launching today called Switchvox as a Service, which we're really excited about. Then we'll talk about what options Sangoma gives you. We'll have a brief summary, of course, a webinar special offer. We can't have a webinar without a special offer. Then some Q&A at the end. So there'll be plenty of time for questions at the end, and I would encourage everybody, as we go through, please submit your questions in the webinar tool. There's a little pane called questions in the GoToWebinar tool, which you can type them in, and we will get to those questions at the end. If we don't have time to cover them all, then we'll make sure we get back to you personally. We are recording this webinar as well, so you will get a copy or a link to a copy in your email, and you can share that with your friends and colleagues as you wish. So let's get into it and talk about the Switchvox key selling features. So this is a brief reminder of what Switchvox can offer you. So what is Switchvox? Well, it's a fully featured IPPBX and UC platform designed for businesses up to about 1,000 users. I would say typically our sweet spot for this is between 20 and 50, but for sure we handle small systems down to just a few users, and we handle large systems all the way up to 1,000 users. So it's a pretty good range covering the vast majority of businesses that are out there. We've spent a lot of time working on the web UI, so everything's managed through the web UI, which makes it really easy to manage. You'll see that the screens you have as a system administrator to keep this thing, to get it deployed and up and running is all very simple. It uses plain English. Really a nice system to manage. We support multiple languages. So about this time last year, we added most of the main European languages. We even did some tweaks for UK English. So now you hear the hash key rather than the pound key and the announcements, all the good stuff like that. So fully updated to deal with the European market. You know what, the next one, all features included, that is probably the key one here. So we don't charge extra for any of the licensing that's involved in Switchvox. So there are no hidden costs. So things like mobile and desktop clients for Linux, Mac OS, Windows, Android, and on iOS on the mobile side, they're all included, no extra cost. We also have this cool feature called Switchboard, which is a per user screen, which allows you to manage your extension effectively. So you can listen to voicemails, you can do conferencing, you can look at your call recordings. You can even turn Switchboard into like a wall boarding application for a call center as a monitor, as a manager. You can see like call wait times, who's in the queue, who's most busy, that kind of thing. Contact center functionality is also built in. So that includes very sophisticated IVRs, really nice queuing applications so that your customers always get dealt with in a completely professional manner. Really nice add-on, that contact center, again included. And of course, hot desking. So particularly with Sangoma phones, you can log into the phone and instantaneously it comes up with all of your key locations, voicemails, that kind of thing, with no reboot of the phone required. Of course, you're buying Switchvox from Sangoma, and as I'm hoping most of you know out there by now, we talk about this a lot. Sangoma is a single vendor solution, so we have the full range of UC products all the way from desktop phones with headsets through the mobile clients I just mentioned, the UC offerings. We have multiple UC offerings if you need to look for something a little bit different, all the way through to gateways, cards, and then big carrier connectivity. So it really is a very wide portfolio. And I think Shan's going to touch on some of these other areas in a little while. And what I really love about Switchvox is the easy sales proposition that you have to take to your customers. So everybody here today is a reseller or a partner of Sangoma. So when you go sell to an end user, really the only question that you need to ask is, how many users do you need? Everything else is included. So the bill of materials, the proposition to your end user customers is really, really simple and easy to understand. It doesn't run to 9 pages with 15 items per page to make the thing dance or sing as you need it to. It just works from out of the box. So today we can deploy Switchvox in one of 3 ways. We can deploy it as a cloud service on the left-hand side, where you take the full managed service from Sangoma. We bundle a SIP trunk with it, so you're buying minutes and SIP trunking and the cool Switchvox features as a cloud. We can deploy on-premise, so you take the same Switchvox stack, put it on a piece of hardware that we supply and deploy on-premise. Or we can sell virtualized, so we have images for VMware, Hyper-V, or just software, and you can go install that on the server or virtualized system of your choice. So we have 3 ways today, and of course it's really nice because all 3 are the same. So you only have to train your tech people once, you only have to train your sales people once. Everything is the same web UI, so once you understand how to deploy it on cloud, you can deploy it on premise and virtualized, just the same. It's very easy. And we don't limit the features in any 3 of these deployment methodologies. So you get the same great feature set I talked about on the previous slide, regardless of whether you deploy cloud, prem, or virtualized. So it's really nice, easy system with the same feature set available. Really, when we're talking about Sangoma for Switchvox, we're really positioning something that's a little bit different. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for partners that want to offer something a little bit different. We're not overrepresented in the market. We haven't got so many resellers that, and we don't want that many resellers, right? We don't want to get drawn into competing with, we don't want you to get drawn into competing with 10 other resellers in the same region, all with the same solution. And when you've got 10 people with the same solution, offering the same solution, all that's going to happen is the price is going to get driven down. It's a race to the bottom. You lose margin. You come to Sangoma and say, hey, I want to make this cheaper. We lose margin, and no one's happy. So we really want to offer something that's not like Broadsoft or one of the other big players. Again, we offer a full UC system. Every feature is included. It's a very simple sales proposition. And of course, the customer, as per the previous slide, has the choice to deploy how they prefer or how you prefer for the customer. So, for instance, we do a little bit of work with doctor surgeries, and doctor surgeries typically want an on-prem solution. And with a lot of our competitors, you'd either have to go to a different vendor for on-prem versus cloud, or some of our competitors, the cloud version is very different from on-prem, whereas for us, it's exactly the same across the board. And we, as a sales team, my sales team, will never force one particular deployment method or onto you, right? So we allow complete choice. If you prefer virtualized versus cloud or on-prem versus virtualized, we don't mind. We'll let you make the decision that's right for you and your customer. Okay, Shan, are you out there? Are you ready to talk about European market research?
Certainly. Good morning, everyone, and it's great to be back talking to you all. It's been a while. So, I know a lot of you have seen this before, but just a little bit of a reminder, the UC market, we know it's been growing for years. But what we're finding, it's growing even more than the previous predictions. If we look at what Gartner are saying, it's going to reach $45 billion next year. And that's the big thing. 2022 seemed a long time away, but actually it's going to be here in 15 days. So we have the potential on the market size. To have a look at what's driving this market, the main thing obviously is more people are working from home. And I would say that's one of the reasons the figures are even greater than we previously thought, due to everything that's happened in the last 12 months. Even more people work from home than previously have. The other thing that is driving the market is customers want an improved experience. They want to be able to get the same experience whether the operator's working from home, they're working in a cafe, or they're at their desk. The customer's not particularly bothered. They want that great experience. So again, this is one of the things that will drive the UC market. Part of this is that we are now including contact center functionality in UC, particularly obviously for us in Switchvox, but other vendors are doing similar. So personally, I would say contact center functionality is the biggest driver for me. But one of the things we're experiencing around Europe, obviously, is the ISDN turn off. This is forcing people to now find a different solution for their business phone systems. And again, they're looking at UC. So this is what we are finding is driving the market today. However, at Sangoma, as we all know, we want to know what is stopping you guys doing UC sales. So we did a brief survey around Europe with our partners, and actually we also touched some people who aren't our partners, but the resellers. I've collated the results into these key categories. So one of the big things that you guys don't like is when the vendor will then steal your customer. You've done all the work, getting them there, selling that, so you've got the first seats, then you need to give the vendor all the details, and they will then just go straight to your customer and offer them more services, and you're out of the loop. So 63% of you found that was a big problem. Another issue is there's too many options when you're quoting. So 5 users want this option, but 4 users need that option. And it's a nightmare. You're spending more time doing admin work, trying to do the quote, than actually getting out there selling. So that's been a current barrier to that. And then, you're having to learn multiple software products depending on deployment. So if it's cloud, you've got to learn one thing. If it's on premise, you've got to learn a different software, and so therefore potentially your customer has to as well, and that's obviously stopping you selling in some instances. And you're finding it difficult when a customer wants a mix of platforms. So in one location they may want on premise, but in a different they need cloud, in a third they need hybrid, and that is getting very complicated for you to deploy. And then the next one, which we weren't expecting, so this is a great for doing this survey, but you've said to us a lot of your customers want to keep their existing SIP trunking. So that's whether they're locked into a contract for 3 years and they've got to stay there, or they like their provider. They just want a great UC product, but they feel they can't because they're locked, because they've got their own SIP trunking. So, as we'll come to it, and I think Sam will cover that, but that is the reason for this webinar, is because of that key finding. But the final one, and which is obviously I would have always seen this as your biggest bugbear, is you do all the work and you've got everything in there, and then another reseller comes along and says, oh, we can offer this for less because you're all selling the same UC platform. I'm going to mention one, whether it's Broadsoft or whoever. So because you haven't got anything unique, you'll get undercut on price. Now, those are the barriers we found, and from what I've done from that one, is let's see, this is what I think you guys want from us. You want choice. You want to be able to offer a choice to all of your customers, not be locked into one product or solution. And you need the competitive advantage, so you're not undercut on price. If you've got that edge, then you need to be able to be unique on that. And I personally, I'd say this is a big one. You want an easier sales proposition. As Simon just said, how many users have you got? Here you go, Mr. Customer. Here's your quote. And so you're not undercut, and you're offering something different. So that's the 4 things we at Sangoma felt after that survey, that this is what you want us to provide. And now on that note, I think Simon can tell us how we're going to provide that to you.
Yeah, thank you, Shan. So I'm really, really pleased to announce our new product called Switchvox as a Service. And you may have guessed what this is going to look like. But here, if you remember, we had a very similar slide to this at the very top of the presentation, where we said Switchvox deployed 3 ways. Now we can have Switchvox deployed 4 ways. And you will see on the left-hand side, we now have a new orange circle with a cog inside it, which denotes Switchvox as a service. Again, exactly the same advantages we had before. So you only have to train your staff and your customers and your tech people once. Same web UI across all 4 deployments, and the same great features. So what is Switchvox as a service? It is effectively Switchvox Cloud, but with bring your own SIP trunks. So you can connect any SIP trunk from any provider into a managed service of Switchvox provided by Sangoma. And what does it mean if you keep your own SIP trunks? Well, the 2 most obvious points are you don't have to port your numbers out, and porting numbers out can sometimes be painful. If you already have a preferred SIP trunking provider who you work with, you don't have to port the numbers out from that guy in order to offer your customers all of the advantages of Switchvox. And of course, porting brings with it a whole bunch of painful admin. So we're just trying to remove those barriers for you. It also means you can bring customers to Switchvox even if you're locked into a contract with maybe ISDN or even SIP trunks. So you don't have to terminate your contract early and get a charge on it for moving your SIP trunk from whatever PBX or UC your customer is using today to Switchvox. Sangoma has gateways in its portfolio, so you can also add UC and to customers who have ISDN contracts. So you continue with the ISDN contract, deploy Switchvox Cloud, and stick a gateway in the middle to convert from SIP to ISDN. And of course, one of the advantages of Switchvox is providing the superior unified communications functionality, contact centers, all of that good stuff, and allow that out to every user. So Switchvox as a service, as you guessed, is bring your own SIP trunks to Switchvox. We run Switchvox Cloud and Switchvox as a service in multiple data centers around Europe. We have access to several data centers. Switchvox as a service is available as of today across Europe, anywhere in Europe. Uptime is greater than 4 nines. It's managed and supported in the local time zone. It's primarily managed and supported out of the European HQ here in Wokingham. If we have a big problem in a single data center or with a single instance, we can move that to one of our alternative data centers as we need to. And of course, we would only do that if it's allowed by local privacy law. We take regular backups of config, voicemails, and call recording. So we typically keep call recording, for instance, for 3 months. We store backup twice a week. We can do that more often if needed. And it's very easy to take any of these backups and move them off to external storage if you need that extra peace of mind. Every customer of Switchvox as a service gets an easy to remember FQDN. That's like the web address. So we've got one called, we own the end of the URL called sangoma.cloud. So here in the UK, it might be tesco.sangoma.cloud or Horton.sangoma.cloud. It's very easy to remember URL that you get for every system. Of course, we want to support you in the odd case where you need us. So we have 4-hour response times for online support requests Monday to Friday. Critical issue support is available 24/7 if something should go badly wrong. The key selling points of Switchvox as a service, we think it's pretty cost effective, right? It's a managed service from Sangoma, but we're not charging the earth. We're offering a really good feature set at a pretty competitive price. You know, we may not be the lowest priced out there if you look at the sticker price, but if, as I mentioned, with our competitors, by the time you add maybe an extra charge for call recording, an extra charge for IVRs, we can for sure be competitive with the feature set that we offer. It's very predictable pricing as well, because there's only really one question, which is how many users, and the number of users absolutely impacts on the price. There's nothing else to impact on the price. One of the other things we can offer is if you sign up for an as a service Switchvox, and sometime through that lifetime of that deployment you'd like to move to cloud and have us provide the SIP trunking as well, because that makes the service a little bit easier to bill, a little bit easier to debug if there are voice quality issues. We will allow you to move to cloud with no penalty at any time. And of course, that is subject to that full cloud offering being available in the country where you're located. We sell through approved partners only. We will never sell Switchvox as a service or even cloud direct to the end user. That's not what we do. We are a channel champion, and we'll always sell through the channel. And we have 3 different contracts available. So month-to-month, 12-month, and 3-year contracts available. And as you might imagine, that the price ramps down a little bit as you move to longer contracts. The other really nice thing we have around Switchvox as a service is our device rental, which we call device as a service. So you can rent on 12 or 36-month plans any of those phones and devices on the right hand side. So the D series phones, the P series phones, the decked handsets and base stations, and our H10 and H20 headsets. For obvious reasons, we don't offer rental on month-to-month deals, only on 12 and 36. If you want it on month-to-month, then we suggest you go purchase those IP phones, headsets, decked phones from our distribution partners in country. It's a lifetime rental. After the contract period, if you pay for it for another 3 months, then you get to take ownership and never have to pay for that phone again. So ultimately, you get the phone to keep at the end of the period. When you have multiple deployments of Switchvox as a service out there, you can use the Sangoma Switchvox Cloud Portal to view and manage your customer deployments. And the really nice thing about how the portal is architected is it's a hierarchical view. So if you have a reseller who has a reseller would see, or partner would see, a bunch of their end users, we can enable end users to go in and manage their own service if we want to, but they would obviously only see themselves. So it's a nice, and we can have as many links in that chain. So if there were 2 resellers in the chain, you could have reseller A sees more, reseller B sees less, end user sees just their own deployment. So it's really nicely architected to scale as we need it. And you get a whole bunch of information, right? You get detailed performance information. You get to see all deployments and a health banner on those deployments on one screen. You can unblock IP addresses if you happen to unlock yourself out of the web UE. And we've got features. We're adding features all the time. We have a big roadmap around our portal to make automation and management much easier. And I think, Shan, I'm over to you for this section, if I think rightly. So why don't you talk us through this section?
Okay, hi again. So I think one of the things Simon's covered pretty well is that Sangoma gives you options on everything we do. Let's have a little quick look at who is Sangoma, because I know, looking at the list, there's some new people who haven't come across us before. We are a very rapidly growing and profitable public company, and that's a big one. We, revenue increases year on year. The key point to take is we feel we offer the best and most flexible end-to-end unified comms solution in the market. As part of that, we are the only manufacturer who completely owns all its own portfolio. So we own our hardware, our software, everything from end to end. And the big thing is we are here for the long term. We're not going anywhere. We've been here since 1984, and I can see us being here till 2084 or well beyond any of us being around. And one of the things I would want to highlight is, yes, we win lots of awards and analysts and so forth like us. But for the 7th year running, we've been in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. There's only 14 companies in there, and we're one of them. And I think I may have got this right. We're only one of 6 companies who've been there consecutively for the last 7 years. And that's a big thing because people do listen to Gartner. Businesses, end users, CEOs always look at what Gartner is saying. And for us to be there, that's good kudos for you to take to your customers. And I would say the one thing to remember is we are proven, we're growing, we're credible, financially solid partner, and you can count on us for years to come from that one. The only other one to mention on this is we are the custodians of Asterix and FreePBX open source, and a lot of people trust us because we are, we rely on open source. Now, and let's look at our commitment to you. So we, as Simon said, we are channel champions. We are never going to sell direct. We're not going to take your customers. We're 100% partner focused, and we make sure we have local people in the local geographies, but we can't do it alone. Your input is vital, absolutely vital to us, and that's why I did the survey throughout Europe to see what do our partners want, what do resellers need from us. So we've got an easy partner program. There's no initial costs, and as you move up through the tiers of the program, you'll get more options, more benefits. If you want to know more about that, just drop me a line and we can go through the partner program, or contact your in-country account managers. The big thing is we are going to make it easy to do business with us, because if we complicate it, you're not going to come back to us. So very simple pricing models. We eliminate any hidden fees. There's no costly add-ons, and it's simple. So as Simon said, you just ask how many users and off you go. We feel we offer the best value in our industry, whether that's on price, features, quality and service. We've got a great reputation for fair dealing, and that's not something we ever want to lose. That means a lot to us. We'll help you with lead generation and project support, protect your deals. The one thing we do, which not all of our competitors will do, is we invest heavily in R&D, because we need to look at what's coming up in the market, and we always want to be able to provide you with the absolute best solution out there that you can then go out and sell. That gives you the competitive advantage we've been discussing. And this wasn't on this slide, but I was just thinking this morning, I absolutely love working at Sangoma, because from top down there's trust, and we want to do the best. Every single individual wants to do the best for their customers and for their colleagues, and I think that's part of what comes out of us as a business, because the people internally have got that mindset, and therefore what we offer you is that mindset. So one of the things we've said here is that we are a single vendor solution. Sorry, Simon, can you move on to the next slide? Thank you. So, I'm not going to go into this in much detail. You can see it through there, but we've got the widest portfolio in the industry. As you can see from the diagram, from endpoints to UC to SBCs, gateways, mobile desktop clients, we've got it all. And because we've got it all, we know it all works together, and you can be rest assured it all works together. If there's ever an issue, then you know you've just got one person to come back to and say, hey guys, this is not working. You're not going to have to go back to several vendors and say, well, it's your bit that doesn't work, or it's my bit that doesn't work. Majority of the other vendors get part of their portfolio from others, so you haven't got that security of knowing it's all going to be there in one piece. And I'd say one of our USPs, our unique selling point, is that there is no difference between deployment methods, whether it's on-premise, cloud, virtual, and now as a service. It's the same software, and it links with the same devices, and it's all consistent. So if it's one thing you're going to take away from Sangoma, is that we offer you everything from there. So we've got, obviously, we've got a lot of customers. We have over 2.5 million, and I think that figure's higher since I did this slide a while ago. But and that is on premise, in the cloud, so forth. We've got credibility from our customers. They trust us, they like our solutions, and they know we're there to support them. We're probably, I think, from what Gartner said, we're probably in the top 5 on with the customers who we've got. Now, the other thing which will give you guys a bit of a edge is because we own Asterix and Free PBX, and there are millions upon millions who use that. Some of those customers will upgrade to Switchvox, or whether they want the phones and stuff. So do look at that as a potential leads and customers coming through there. And even our competition uses our technology in stuff. That's just a few customers there that you can see. But that's your takeaway, is we're here for the long term and we are going to support you. So let's do a quick summary. Oh, hang on. No, we've got special offers first. That's all right. So I don't know what you guys have taken with this, but from what Simon said, I've taken that you can bring your own trunks. But I'm pretty sure that's not what he meant. That's just marketing, as always, not understanding the message. Now, we give you choice. I think the 4 things we looked at the start is you guys from the survey wanted choice. And I'm hoping that now we've added Switchvox as a service, that gives you even more choice. We give you the competitive edge, as we've just discussed. We've simplified the sales proposition for you. It's easy, you've got it there. And the bigger thing is, we're actually proud to be different. Some people don't want to be different, they just want to be one of the crowd, but we don't. We want to give you something different because it's unique and we're the best at it. So, as we can't have a webinar without giving you a special offer, everyone on this webinar who comes to us, the first, for your Switchvox as a service, for your customers, we're going to give you the first 3 months free. So you as a reseller will get the 3 months free. And if you need to use some of that with your customer, you can, or not. Just remember that little quote. And I'd finally say, challenge us. This is one of the things that we don't say often enough. We know we've got the best solution out there, but give us that opportunity to convince you. Whether it's one deal, one pitch, look at a demo, but send us that challenge. And that's all we have from us. But we do have questions, which I will just launch up as Simon's doing that. One of the things is, don't forget, over Christmas period, Sangoma Meet's still free. If it's there for you to use. Right, Simon, I've got a few questions that are coming up. The first one is, how much does it cost?
Straight to the point.
Straight to it. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, we've got resellers. That's what they're going to ask us.
Yeah, of course. I don't think I want to go directly into pricing. It's pretty competitive. It varies depending on the length of contract, and we're always prepared to put deals together to win a little bit of business. So I would highly encourage all of you to go out and talk to your local sales guy. So Lauren, UK, Benelux and Nordics, Thomas in Germany and Eastern Europe, Euro down in Italy, George in France, and Lola for Iberia. I hope I've got everybody there, otherwise my team will be shouting at me at the end. So please talk to your local guys. We're all me or Shan, we're all here to help, and for sure we can give you some pricing I think you'll be pretty pleased with.
Yeah. Now, yeah, so this is an interesting one. What if my SIP trunking contract ends partway through? So I've taken Switchvox as a service, but my SIP trunking's ended. What can I do?
Yep, great one. So I think I mentioned earlier that we would always allow you to progress up to Sangoma Cloud. So we could offer where it's available, we could offer you this full SIP service. If you didn't want to move to us for whatever reason, I hope you would give us a try. But if you didn't want to do that, then we for sure you could connect a different SIP trunk if you really wanted to. But I think the first move would be give us a try on the full Switchvox Cloud offering where we can bundle in minutes.
Cool. Where will I get support?
Good question. So we have a support team here in the office in the UK, which would be the first port of call for most support issues. But better than that, we have follow the sun support. So we have 3 main tech support centers in India, the UK, and North America. We're quite lucky that we're in the middle of those time zones, so we can benefit from getting support virtually any time. Well, we can get support any time of the day, but you're likely always to get a timely answer because guys in India wake up early, guys in North America go to bed late. So it's and we have an online ticketing system. We have a phone number you can call to get Switchvox support. So I think we're pretty well covered there.
Cool. How can I connect ISDN 30 to this?
Oh, good old ISDN 30. So ISDN 30, which is primary rate interface, PRI, also called an E1 or a T1 in North America. So we have these devices called Vega gateways, which are protocol converters. So they convert from old school ISDN to SIP or IP. So you can make it look like your ISDN 30 is another SIP trunk. So as far as Switchvox as a service is concerned, it's connected to a gateway, and that's connected off to an ISDN link. So that all works absolutely perfectly.
Brilliant. I'm glad you got that one, not me. So can we add or reduce seats?
Can we add? Yes, you can. You can add or reduce seats. So you can go from 10 to 11 or 10 to 9 as you need to. Not a problem.
Brilliant. Do the rental phones come with auto provisioning?
Yes, they do. So when we will when we send the phones out, we will kind of stamp the phones with the deployment which they need to point to. So as soon as you send them out to a customer plugs them in, they will go and retrieve their config from the cloud Switchvox as a service, and hey presto, it just comes up with the correct extension and everybody is good to go. So it is true zero touch plug and play.
Okay, cool. Does Switchvox include a billing solution?
Oh, great question. Actually, we didn't cover that one off, did we?
No.
It does not include a billing application, but fundamentally, all you're paying for is the per seat cost. So the majority of the billing effort comes from the SIP trunking side, where you have to deal with minutes and bundles and all that good stuff, which of course we deal with on Switchvox Cloud, but in Switchvox as a service, we don't have to deal with that. So it's pretty much a recurring fixed cost. We don't have a billing engine with it, but I don't think it really needs one. If you need some advice on billing, we have lived through this process, so we can for sure provide some advice on on a billing system if you need us to help you. But you know,
Okay.
we're always open to having those kinds of discussions to provide advice, and you know, even where it doesn't lead to sales from Sangoma. So please give us a call.
Cool. All right. And I think we've got, so I'm just looking at the next one. How is it possible for an ISP to make certifications for VoIP service? Hopefully that makes sense to you.
Yes, I think this one is asking, if I've got an ISP, how am I going to know that it works with Switchvox? I think that's the question. Because Switchvox adheres to the open standards of SIP. So we would always be very sure that any SIP trunking provider will work with Switchvox. Of course, again, our support team are happy to, if there are any wrinkles to work through, for sure, we would help you work through that. But Switchvox has been around a long time, right? We've covered many hundreds of trunking providers, and we can make it work. So I'm very sure we can make this work. So please come talk to us. Again, it's a dialogue, right? Please come talk to us, and we can for sure help you out. One thing we didn't mention, Shan, I don't think, was we have demos and eval licenses. So
Yes.
Before that question about SIP trunking, we can be sure it will work. But if you want a little bit of extra comfort, please ask us for an eval license, an evaluation license. We will turn up a system in our cloud, and then we will work with you to make sure that your chosen SIP trunking provider works, and we'll make sure that you know how to configure it when you go do your customers deployment. So for sure, we'll help you through this. Get in touch with us, and we'll work on this with you.
An important thing is the demos and eval licenses are free. Yeah. So I'm just giving away, all of your profits as marketing does to sales. But yeah, and guys, I think one of the things is on a demo, if you want us to demo to your customers, we are more than happy to do that, or do a joint one and come in with you, not a problem. We're available for that. And I think, Simon, that is all we had. So, I mean, it's been great. Lots of people on here, but I'd just say if you've not asked a question, you've got a question, drop us an email, give us a call. But other than that, I would just say, have a great Christmas, everyone, on the call. And, it's been a hell of a year, but looking forward to 2022 with you all.
Absolutely. To echo Shan's comments, yeah, have a great Christmas and New Year, everybody. And please come. We're always open to conversation. Please come talk to us anytime. But thanks for coming, and speak to you soon. Bye now.
Bye all.